So welcome back. This is the playlist of how to get 19 PTE this year. New strategies, new techniques, new updates, not the things we used to teach before. So this is the reading section. If you are watching the previous two sections, which is the speaking and the writing, it's been fun and games. I'm very optimistic. Anybody can pass their speaking. Anybody can do well in the writing section. Now, reading is my most hated section. Now, the reason why is because, unfortunately, if you come to us and your reading is very low, we're not magicians. I wish I could snap my fingers and make you get 90, but this is not the reality. If anybody tells you that they can make you go from 50 to 79 plus in reading in 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm sorry to say that, but they're probably lying to you or they want to get your money. So if somebody came to me and they're getting 50, 50, 50 in 3 sections, and they're getting 70 in their reading, I can fix it. Give me 4 to 5 weeks with this person, we can make them get 79 plus. But on the other side, if you're getting 90, 90, 90 in 3 sections, and your reading is 50, even though it seems like it's really easy and you're already passing 3 sections, in fact, it's actually very hard. The reason why, because the reading section tests your grammar, it tests your vocabulary, it tests your collocations, it tests your verbs and prepositions. That's not something you can learn overnight. Because as a native English speaker, we use certain phrases in our day-to-day conversation since we're babies that we never really question what the meaning is. For example, early bird gets the worm, right? It's just one of those sayings, like the meaning is the person who gets up early, they get the prize, they get the reward. But as a non-native English speaker, if you had this in your reading fill in the blanks question, early something gets the worm, you might be second guessing, you might not know the meaning. So let's get straight to the point. How can you get 79 plus in the reading section? Let's say you're already in the mid 60s or high 60s and you need 79, it's absolutely doable. The first thing we need to focus on, we need to make sure you're getting full marks in your read aloud. We need to make sure you're getting the maximum number of marks from your summarized written text, which you saw in the previous 2 videos. Now for the reading section itself, first, of course, there's strategies, there's techniques. There are grammar rules. For example, if I say our video guy Justin is very hardworking and something. Justin is very hardworking and something. I'm not going to say Justin is hardworking and lazy. Because if I have the word and, whatever is the content before and after should be similar. So maybe he's hardworking and dedicated. Right? This is just one of those tricks, but it comes repeated a lot. So partially reading is learning the basic grammar rules. We're not here to teach you grammar, we're not here to teach you English, but there are about 10 or 15 shortcuts that will help you a lot. Because the same pattern recognition, when you have it, when you've seen the same type of question, you know the kind of keywords that you're looking for. If this is a noun, you're also going to look for an adjective. If this is an adjective and then you have a comma, that means you might have another adjective. So things like that get repeated all the time. Second thing is about practice. So if you gave the exam in 2019 or 2018 or 2017, before they used to have only about 300 or 250 fill in the blanks questions and less than 100 reorder paragraphs. So a lot of you guys that are good at cramming, you would just memorize all the questions, and if they came repeated, you got a beautiful score. The moment something new came into the exam, it was a complete disaster. And I've had those situations. I've had girls that could memorize 300 blanks, and if I show them the first sentence, they could tell me the answers without even reading the options. Unfortunately, that's not possible anymore. Last time, or the moment we're recording this video, there's already more than 1,000 fill-in-the-blank questions. There's nearly 300 reorder paragraphs. There are lots of free practice sites, including our portal from where you can get it, but it won't be everything. And frankly, unless you quit your job and you dedicate your whole life to studying PTE for 6 months straight, it's very difficult to go through 1,000 plus questions. So partially it's the practice. Second part is your basic knowledge. We can't bring you from 0 to 90 in 2 weeks. It might take some time. I've had students that went from 55 to 85 in the reading section, but it took them 2 to 3 months to go through many materials. Third thing is your pattern recognition. Whenever you see the same type of shortcuts and grammar tricks, even though maybe you don't know the meaning of this particular word, you've seen the same idea. You know that if this is an adjective, you're going to look for an adjective. If there's no comma here, that means you're going to look for this particular word. And the third thing is actually getting human feedback. Because one thing is whenever you're practicing on one of those free websites and you see I got 3 blanks right, 2 blanks wrong. Next question. 4 blanks right, 2 blanks wrong. Next question. The problem with this is you know you're making mistakes, but you don't know how to fix them. Or you know you're making mistakes, but nobody can explain to you why we would say fantastically good English and not fantastic good English, right? So why would I say fantastically good English rather than fantastic good English? Or another example is this. Somebody asked me the other day, and I give this example in the class as well. What's the difference between piercing and puncturing? So what's the difference if I pierce something or if I puncture something, right? And honestly, I never thought about this in my life. But, as a native English speaker, I would think, okay, what is something that I can pierce? For example, I can pierce my ear. I don't have a piercing, but I could pierce an ear. Okay, so what does piercing an ear mean? Piercing an ear means the needle is going in through one side and it's coming out through the other side, meaning it's making a hole, right? Okay, what about puncture? What's something you can puncture? So maybe the nurse, when you go to the hospital, she punctures your vein in order to give you an injection or an IV. So what does that mean? Puncture means the needle is going in, but it's not going all the way through. Meaning whenever somebody puts a needle to give you an injection, it doesn't go out through your arm. So if you're making those mistakes in reading and you're struggling and you don't know where you're going wrong, you need to have somebody actually explain to you. Because there's a famous quote, give a man a fish and he will eat for one day. Teach a man how to fish and he will eat a lifetime. So it's the same thing in the reading section. If I give you practice questions and materials, you're only going to know how to do that. But if I actually explain to you the concept and explain to you the logic and the grammar tricks and the shortcuts and the strategies, you will be able to carry this with you into your exam. And even though you get a new question, you will be able to eat a lifetime, or in other words, you'll be able to pass your exam without needing outside help. So the most important thing is, other than the practice and the portal and the questions and basic grammar and shortcuts and tricks, do you really want to be one of those people that keep spending $10, $15, $20,000 giving the PTE 20, 30 times, taking time from work, quitting your job, studying PTE for 6, 7 months, memorizing 1,000 questions? Or would you actually be willing to have a good mentor that could fast track your success? So rather than you wasting 6 months, you can probably do it in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, as long as you're getting the proper guidance and feedback. So best of luck to you guys. Implement the following. You should see your reading score improve drastically, but it does take practice. It does take some guidance, unfortunately, because reading is the one they're making harder and harder every single year.